continue with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. So, Nancy, here's the mic.
Let's read responsively the reading at the top of page 3. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us.
As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Page 6. Let's join together on the top of the page. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let them drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. So that first paragraph reminds us of those who came before us. It connects us with the generations who have been part of our lives, and some who came before us were not directly part of our lives, but they are part and were part of our people. And so we hold very dear the concept of Lador Vador, from generation to generation. We take it on as our obligation to carry on and to pass down the traditions, the teachings, the values, the customs, the rituals of Judaism. And one of the traditions that we pass down is Shabbat. And towards the end of this reading, it says, the harshness of the weak, let this drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. So I'm going to pass the mic, and if you care to share, please think of something that you want to leave out there. In here, we're starting Shabbat, sacred time, a time of peace, a time to let go of the worries that weigh heavy on our mind. So I'm going to start, and of course, if you want to pass, that's fine too. I am going to let go of feeling like that there are so many parts of my house that are not in order. Things need to be put away. And it's making me crazy. And for Shabbat, I'm just going to say, okay, I'm just going to let it go, let it be, and not think about it till after Shabbat ends.
Since I became a substitute teacher, it takes a big chunk of my time and doesn't leave a lot of time to do the type of writing I would like to do. And that sometimes makes me feel guilty and not a whole self. So this Shabbat, I'm going to leave outside the feeling that I'm not quite all there because I don't get the time to do everything that I want to do.
I'm going to leave outside my frustrations with trying to get the technology to work so that I can do everything that I need to do online.
I'm going to leave behind anything dumb I was going to say.
I'm going to leave behind all the horrible stories I heard at work this week.
I am also going to leave behind all the drama and chaos that work has been for the last several weeks.
I'm gonna leave behind all the stress from school and daycare.
I've been working on planning a family vacation for the second week of June, and it's been complex trying to get 11 people to decide on when we're going, where we're going, what we're going to do, how we're going to get there. And now all the arrangements are made, and I'm going to let it go and just look forward to having fun when we're together.
I'm going to pass.
I'm going to try to leave behind the feeling that I have to get everything done right now, this second, and just relax.
I would like to leave behind the worry about what is happening in our country today.
You took mine away. I'd like to leave behind the news of the world.
This Shabbat, I'd like to leave behind my worry that I will not be able to see another friend of mine for a long time or maybe ever, and just celebrate all of the friends that are in my life now.
So thank you for sharing all that we will leave behind, and let's just take all that in. Let us inhale peace and breathe out that which is being left behind, and then we'll continue in a few more moments. Let us rise for the Baruch Hu, page 28, our call to worship. Harper, do you want to help open the ark? Let's join together on page 31 in the middle of the page. This is an interpretive piece that is written on the theme of Ma'ariv Aravim, which has to do with God's role in changing the seasons and the times. Together? This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha-ma'ariv aravim. The question that they asked twice, or the statement, this is an hour of change, it ties in really nicely with how we started, right? The change we want, what we want to leave behind, and as we move into change, our focus on Shabbat. We're going to continue on page 32 with the singing of Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat olam, Bet Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu u'kumenu nasiach b'hukecha u'mismach b'divrei toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'orech yamenu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla v'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamin Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael.
Let us rise as we are able, physically or spiritually, for Shema Yisrael, the watchword of our faith, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. We're going to continue on page 36 as we chant V'ahavta together.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. Adonai Elohechem emet.
The middle of page 39, we will continue responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
By prophets, did by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace.
Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
The words of Mi Chamocha, some of these words were sung by our ancestors after they crossed the Sea of Reeds from bondage in Egypt to freedom on the other side. Page 40, Mi Chamocha. to continue with the Hashkivenu, and that's a blessing that we sing at night when the sun sets, it becomes darker, and we ask God to watch over us. Tonight we are going to sing Haporei Sukkot Shalom. It's a new song for our congregation, so tonight we will listen, and going forward we will have the opportunity to join in with Elliot.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael. V'yal Yerushalayim v'yakol amo. V'yal Yerushalayim shalom. V'yal Yerushalayim v'yakol amo. V'yal Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael.
We're going to continue on the top of 44 with the singing of Vishamru, reminding us of the connection between God and us, between the holiness of Shabbat and the ability to rest, to exhale, to stop from doing and allow ourselves just to be, to breathe more deeply, to slow down, to really be present in our lives, and to know it's okay to be human beings as opposed to human doings.
Israel, oti le'olam, mohi le'olam, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotim b'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim Asaronai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit olam. Vayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael
physically or in spirit, as we rise for the Amidah, page 46, as we open the Ark. Nancy, as our Bima guest, would you like to? Harper, do you want to help out? Thanks.
תפתח והופיע תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hamorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל מבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו לך אלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. As we just looked at the Torahs in our Ark, Nancy found today that on the URJ website, there was a passage, a small passage about the Torah, and actually the words are the words we have in Hebrew. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. And the picture of the Torahs were the inside of our Ark. So, yeah, we'll put it in the email blast. It's pretty cool that the inside of our Ark was on our movement's website. So, yay, Temple Shalom. And yay, Nancy, for finding it and sharing it. Okay, we are going to continue on page 55, responsively in the middle of the page. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesterdays.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of the living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters for the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Reading this passage brought me back to a phrase that I learned in rabbinic school, that the job of the clergy is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comforted. The comfortable, thank you. Yeah, to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. In other words, what this was talking about, like we just can't be complacent, right? Like disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us. Like there's stuff going on in the world, you know, shock us. You know, help us to see that that to have this delusion that all is well when our world is at war and crumbling and there's so much hatred. No, that's not okay, right? Wake us and shake us. And let us remember that we're not just to be holy when we're inside the sanctuary, that the values that we talk about, that our prayers talk about, the messages that we get here, they're for our whole life. They're for everywhere. We need to take them with us when we leave this sacred space and disturb us, vex us, right? On this day of Shabbat, we still need to be, on a certain level, remember that action needs to occur. Even if it's not on Shabbat itself, Shabbat ends, right? Saturday night. That there's always more work to do. That there's always something else that has to be done. And when we read a prayer several pages ago, it also made me think of that idea as well, that in a world torn by violence and pain, a world that is so far from wholeness and peace, that we still want to believe in the goodness of people, that there is space and room for God, for holiness, and that we still, as it said, let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. That the work is ours to do, and part of being Jewish is doing what we can to make this world more whole, to make this world better, to improve upon the ills of society. It's not just to call it out, oh yes, there's this problem and this problem, but to know that we have a responsibility to do what we can. And unfortunately, there is so much to do. Every day, it seems like there's more and more things that need to be repaired in this world. And so, as Jews, we need to remember that the idea of tikkun olam, of repairing the world, is upon us. That we have that responsibility. And that we are a people that believe not in optimism, well, this idea that things will be better, but in hope, which, as Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory teaches or taught us, that hope requires action. It's not just thinking, oh, one day things will be better, to be optimistic, but to work for change. And each of us has skills and tools and the intellect and different resources that we have, that we can lend our voice, our name, our time, our energy to find that part of the brokenness that we want to work on, where we want to make a difference for ourselves, for our families and loved ones, our friends, and ultimately for the world. Because our belief teaches, our tradition teaches, that we can hasten the coming of the Messiah, that time when the whole world will benefit, when there'll be peace, when the ugliness and the evils that plague humans won't be there. So from our readings tonight, let us remember that we can take something with us when we leave, bring it with us, carry it forward, and to help make a difference in our world, which is broken and in need of help. I'm going to ask from Tammy and John and Megan if you guys wouldn't mind moving your chairs over so we have room, Dan, for you to join the circle. So we are glad that you are with us. Let us continue on the top of page 59. And actually, instead of reading this is our Hoda'ah, which is our prayer of thanksgiving. I'm going to pass the mic, and I hope that you will choose to share, but it's fine if you don't want to. Something for which you are thankful, something for which you are grateful for at this moment. I am grateful that we have a really nice turnout tonight. And I also love that we're sitting in a circle, that we can see each other and not staring at the backs of each other's heads. So I wish everyone Shabbat Shalom.
I am grateful for my family and all the love in my life.
I'm grateful that some people have stepped forward to take over the leadership mantle of Temple Shalom from me.
I'm grateful Nancy still likes me.
He should be.
Folks, please put the mic pretty close because the mic doesn't really pick up.
We are very grateful. Sarah Lee will be graduating in just a few weeks for school.
I'm grateful for my husband and family, and that my son and daughter-in-law are trying to arrange a trip for me to go see my brother and sister-in-law.
I'm thankful for my wife, Carolyn, and family and friends.
At this morning, in this moment, I'm grateful to be here with all of you. But tomorrow morning, I'll be grateful for homemade cheese minces.
I'm thankful for Tammy, my dogs, and being in relatively good health at this stage in my life.
I'm thankful for my wife and my family.
And that we have been together 50 years in a couple of weeks.
I'm thankful for the beautiful music that Elliot brings to us.
I would like to say I'm grateful for my family and my partner Katie, who came together this week to help mourn the passing of our beautiful cat Fiona. And I'm very grateful for my friends who took me to see my favorite band, Magdalena Bay, this week on a little vacation. It was a week full of highs and lows, and I'm grateful for all of my family and friends.
Nice. So, John, I would be have an extra gratitude if I could come get some of those blintzes in the morning. Okay. Top of page 60, we find Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace. O Jevo Shalom Aleinu, we continue to pray that peace will come. It feels like a big ask, but we will continue to pray for the day when people will lie down together under the fig tree and study war no more.
Shalom Rav Yal Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yal Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yal Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yal Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol et uv'chol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yal Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yal Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
At this time, we turn our prayers to our loved ones who are in need of prayers for healing of body, mind, spirit. Tonight our prayers are with Sherry Davies, Leah Dolman, Malia Willis, Judy Yesowich, Lev Dickerman, Carla Dunbar, John Lermit, Nash Zaid, Rich Goldwyn, Jim Todd, Madeline Scarborough, Sharon Pratt, Steve Duval, Susan Charlton, Austin Naamani, Carrie Kaplan, Shara Rasachan, Stephen Rasachan, Lucas Rosenfeld, Kieran O'Connell. If you'd like to add the name of your loved ones, please do so as the mic comes to you.
People of Ukraine,
Jerry and Shelby Stuman, Laura Metzger.
Miracle.
Dave and Polly Broken.
Ben Addison Strong, Justin Strong.
Jordan Scott, Molly.
Oksana Brudner, Gaba Gavi, Igor Pergam, Igor Brenstein, Sarah Soletto, Rich Goldwyn, Larry Goldwyn, Alan Carrico, Leah Coleman, and Bill Robards.
Gareth Penner.
Gareth Penner.
Steve Eggers,
Jeff Ford,
Darlene Jones. Bela Sussman, Nika Zaitzeva.
Our Misha Barak prayer for healing can be found in the middle of 253, and then we will go straight into our silent prayer.
Source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Sheberach imotenu mekor habracha levotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Say shalom imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'hakol Yisrael. 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 Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom
This week, we have a double Torah portion, Acharemot and Kiddushim. Kiddushim has the root Kuf Dalet Shin. Anything that has the root Kuf Dalet Shin has to do with Kadosh, being holy. Like we say, Asher Kiddishanu, right? God has made us holy. Or when we say Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. And so the Kaddish, right? We sanctify God's name. Kiddush, the blessing over the wine, right? We sanctify Shabbat. When we sanctify, we make holy. And this Torah portion is literally right in the middle of the Torah. It's in the book of Leviticus. And this idea of holiness is not foreign to us. Living lives of holiness is something we are called to. And we are, for example, asked to not do certain things to our bodies because our bodies are holy and sacred. Like, we don't just have an autopsy because we wonder like what happened to our loved one, traditionally. If a medical examiner thinks there was foul play and says we need an autopsy, then so be it. Or if they think somebody might have a genetic condition and an autopsy could help science and help the family, that's a valid reason, for example. I know today it's very popular among Jews. This is not a judgment, truly. It's just stating that one of the reasons Jews, in Jewish tradition, we don't get tattoos is because our bodies are considered sacred and holy, and we don't make marks or gashes on our body. And so that's why we tear the ribbon, or people tore their clothing. Other traditions, and some still do, they put a gash in their flesh when they're mourning. We tore our clothing, or today most of us do the ribbon. So there are eating, right? Certain things we're told, don't put these into your body. Certain foods that are considered non-kosher. Why? Because they're considered not clean. They're not, and our bodies are considered holy. So there's a lot of things that we do or don't do because of this concept of holiness. In our prayer book, for example, one of the things that we read sometimes on Shabbat morning, these are things that we're asked to do that are holy. To honor one's father and mother, to be compassionate, engage in deeds of compassion, arrive early for study, morning and evening, to welcome guests and deal graciously with them, to visit the sick, to provide for the wedding couple, to accompany the dead for burial, attend a funeral or a Shiva minyan, make peace among people, to do all these things and more, to leave the corners of our fields, if we were farmers, for those, the poor, the widow, the orphan. It goes on and on. It has to do with so many areas of our life. And when I think about this idea of holiness and this idea of valuing life, it makes me think, it makes me think of something that's been happening more profoundly since October 7th, 2023, that I find painful. And it's in my mind because we're in the period of what we call the Yoms. There was Yom HaShoah. Yom means day, right? Holocaust Remembrance Day. Then came Yom HaZikaron, Israeli Memorial Day. And then next day, Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. And there's Yom Yerushalayim. It's when Jerusalem, was reunited. And one of the things that divides Jews the most these days, and has for the past few years, unfortunately, is Israel. And one of the things that's so painful is that when people don't like decisions made by the administration of the United States, or don't like actions that are being taken by our country, people don't say that there shouldn't be a United States, or that we don't have a right to exist, or that all Americans, right, are guilty, are bad, are committing all kinds of horrible acts. And when it comes to Israel, however, when the government does things, takes actions that people don't like, when things are happening that people don't agree with, all of Israel, just Israel, is condemned. There's not really a distinction. Somehow, with us, like we as Americans aren't being blamed for what our administration's doing, but Israelis, they go on vacation, they've been attacked. They go to, in other countries, they go to soccer games, they've been attacked, et cetera, et cetera. It happens constantly. We don't have to name the instances. I think we're aware. And at the Yom HaZikaron ceremony this past Monday night at the JCC, there were 2 soldiers there, and they spoke about loved ones that fell during war. And there was a song, I had never heard it before. It was literally brought people to tears. There was a soldier who was sent to Gaza, a young soldier, and in his phone he wrote letters to his mom, to his dad, to his friends, in case he didn't survive. And unfortunately, he did not survive. And the letters were found in his phone. And somebody wrote a song, a beautiful song, using some of the words from some of his letters, one to his mother, his father, etc. It was very touching. And it was painful. And last weekend, my daughter went to a BBYO convention, and in one of the sessions that she was in, there was an Iranian woman there, and there was an Israeli. And they each spoke and then made presentations. And the Israeli had done his army service, was living in the States, had married an American, and was going to school, because we know in Israel you don't go to college until after you finish the army. So his phone started, constant, and he doesn't normally look at his phone on Shabbat, but he decided, well, what's going on? It was just too much. And he saw some images, and he thought, this is AI, this is crazy. And then they did turn on the news, and he saw what was happening on October 7th. And he said to his American wife, I need to go back. I need to defend my country. And she said, please don't go. And then she said, look, please take another 24 hours at least, think about it, and then if you feel you need to go, go. So they were in Gaza, and they came upon this house, and as always, they used the dogs to sniff out for booby traps, which they did. And they went in the house, and there was a family in there, a mother, a father, and 2 kids, and the wife was pregnant. And the wife went into labor. And so these soldiers delivered this baby. And this Israeli was telling these teens how he held this little life in his hands, and it was so miraculous to him, and he was so moved. This is new life, and it was something he had never done, and it moved him so. And what they did was they took the family and they put them in the tank and they took them to Israel. So the baby could have care, a newborn, and the family could get out of the war zone. And then at some point he went back to the States to study. And he's thinking about how one day he's holding this new life in his hands, and the next day, not the next day, but after he left, he's like doing chemical equations, and it just seemed like such a disconnect. And then he starts walking across campus, and then there are the signs, the anti-Israel signs, the signs about Israelis are baby killers, and he's thinking to himself, I just helped deliver a life. Like, he didn't care that it was Palestinian. I mean, he's going to deliver this baby, right? And it was a miracle. And then he's faced with these signs that were in the direct opposite of what he himself had done. He didn't kill a baby. He helped bring a baby into life and then got it safely to a hospital for care. And when I think of holiness, holiness comes about by actions that we take, by things that we do. What he did, what his unit did that was in that house, that was holy. That was holy. We talk about that we're partners with God. None of them were doctors, but they got instructions and they helped bring about this new life that had the spark of the divine in it. And so there's it's painful when Israelis as a whole and is the country is blamed, condemned for the actions of what some are doing, for the decisions that some in leadership, or many at this point, unfortunately, are making. But the average Israeli in the street is not making those decisions. Just like we, as the average American on the street, are not making decisions. There are decisions that are happening in this country that many Americans disagree with. We do what we can, we protest, et cetera, but we don't make the decisions, and we can't stop it. And there are many Israelis who don't agree, and many Americans too, who don't agree with the decisions of the Israeli government. They don't. But those people also aren't responsible for the decisions of the leaders of the government. So as I think about all these yoms, all these various commemorations that have been happening, and I think about this idea of holiness, it's important for me, who finds actions of the Israeli government painful and against what I believe and my values. And sometimes soldiers make bad mistakes, but that's on them. That's not on every Israeli. It doesn't mean the whole country shouldn't be there. So what I'm trying to say is we need to remember that we can do things that are holy to make a difference, but that collectively people should not be held responsible for the decisions that are made by those in power that they have no control in. And I pray that somehow we as a Jewish community, because at this point it's worldwide, that we can find a way to stay together, not so fractured, and that we can be holy, a holy people, and I pray that Israel I'll leave it at that. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Y'all ready for the announcements? Yeah. Okay. Saturday, we'll be here tomorrow morning, 10:30, not streamed. Rabbi started a new class on Jewish ethics at Pirkei Avot. We'll meet Thursdays, April 30th and May 7th from 6:30 to 7:30. Should be fun. Watts has its annual Mother's Day Shabbat on Friday, May 8th at 6:30, and Oneg follows. And be sure and send in your Mother's Day tribute. Remember, we have the cash books, and we get $10 from the $20 sale, and I've already made my money back at Kroger, and that's all I've used mine for, and it's well worth the money. So all this is in the email blast. If you aren't getting that, contact LaTanya. And thanks to Elliot for music tonight, and thanks to Travis for streaming. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we're going to continue in the middle of page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. If you are here to recite Kaddish for a loved one, you're invited to rise when their name is read aloud. Tonight we remember David Weilage, Greta Schlesinger, Harold Siegel, Michael Jason Smith, Frida Fisher, J. Charles Sirowatka, Miriam Frisch Benjamin, Dora K. Sherman, James William Weinberger. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may they rest in peace as we rise together to recite the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayeichon u'vyomeichon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha berihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'yimeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, amen. Please be seated. Elliot, by chance, do you have the music for Hine Matov or Ki Eshmera Shabbat? Okay, great. So, Hine Matov, it can be found on page 10. It's just been so great being together tonight, and I'm glad folks are here. And We'll be here again this time next week, so think about coming back and joining us. Hine Matov, page 10. Kiddush Motzi will be in the lobby. Turn to someone near you and wish them Shabbat Shalom.